Hey guys, and welcome back to the road to 1600. Today I've got a pretty fun game for you as white, where I was building a pretty strong attack over onto the king side, knowing that I had a little bit of a weakness in my armor over on the queen side. But if you look right below, that one little weakness in my armor really came back to bite me. So stay tuned to see where exactly it all goes wrong and see if you can find it before I point it out. But if this is your first time finding the channel, feel free to like and subscribe as we continue to grow. Let's go check it out. Okay, let's take a look at this game. Playing as white, starting off at 802, going up against 715. I mean, if you guys have watched any of my videos, you know that as soon as I see that, I'm thinking, oh yeah, I got this. So, playing as white, last couple games I've been doing the London, just to get a little bit a better setup, a little bit of a more structured approach. And this game was interesting because I thought I had a pretty good setup. I made one big mistake, and that's just the theme of a lot of my games, honestly. So, following the normal pattern here, we got a pretty symmetrical start for the most part. Well, very symmetrical now. But I'm just setting up the London. I was keeping an eye on his bishops, and that dark squared bishop is the downfall there. So he falls back. And I think I should have pushed my b-pawn up to move his bishop out of there. Because when I do play the London, I do focus on the king side a little bit more. And so if I move my b-pawn up there, I guess I'm not really like sacrificing space that I want to use as much. But he is staring at my king, and that becomes a big issue. So I think I probably should have pushed my b-pawn up there. So I continue developing normally. And I just want to keep the space, get the structure that I'm looking for. And now my pawn is pinned since I moved that knight. And a lot of the times, I will say, I don't necessarily see the attack that's being put on me. But this time I did see it. And I was thinking to myself, okay, if I get put into check, if that bishop comes down for whatever reason, I get put into check, I'll just slide my king up. It'll block my bishop in, but it's not necessarily the end of the world. And I was focusing, because I see that his king and his rook are open on the king side, so I was expecting a king side castle. So I was like, okay, I can push my h-pawn up there to try to break his pawn structure. I can move his knight, and then I can get my queen over there to try to put some pressure on his king side. So I figured if I can just throw all my pieces over onto one side and not worry as much about the other side, then I'll be fine. I've seen this a couple times when the knight comes into e4, and I don't really know the best way to repel it at this point in time, but knight comes in there, and I did not see this. I really didn't see this, was if that knight goes to c3. And I'm thinking, let me start pushing my pawn up there to, again, attack that king side. So the knight comes down, c3. Ooh, I got big problems. And what do? I make it worse. So he moves his knight over to a2, discovered check. Oh, I have to block the check, pin my knight, and then bang, lose my queen. So that sucked. And honestly, that was not the game per se, but that was a big issue. I really needed the queen to kind of get in there and deliver the final blow, and so now I was kind of like, crap. Now I don't really know what the strategy is. So I'm dancing around here, just trading some pieces, trying to get back a little bit. So fight for the center a little bit. I want to keep my two pawns together on E and F, so I figured let's just move the bishop around, attack the queen. Maybe he doesn't see it. Obviously he sees it, so let's just move the bishop, develop a little bit. And that'll also let my light squared bishop get out a little bit. But yeah, I'm still pinned this whole time, and I was thinking, all right, I can move my b-pawn up, but he could just take it. I've been pinned this whole time, so let's just throw a couple checks out there, see what happens. Yeah, I just castle, and I don't have this knight defended for when I castled, because I was so concerned with getting that knight unpinned that I didn't realize that when I got him unpinned, I could have taken him. I could have taken him with my bishop. I had terrible board vision there, and I didn't even see that I could just swoop right in and take. Honestly, he should have probably taken me too, because he's up material. He should just willed me away, just like that. So yeah, that was tough. That dark squared bishop just decimated my defenses. So now I got 2 rooks and a bishop and a couple of pawns. I'm down big. Yeah, it's a 13-point difference. So got a minute and a half left in this game. We'll just let it go. I'm just scrambling. I was like, all right, maybe I can move my pawn up, and then he'll take me, and it'll be open, and somehow I'll get my rooks involved, and yeah, it's just tough. Just tough. Maybe I should have traded my rooks there and taken his pawn, but lots of checks. Lots of checks. I'm just clicking around, trying to figure out, like, what can I even do here? I am in trouble. Yeah, I mean, he can slide over, take my bishop, then slide down and take my rook. I am just in all kinds of trouble. Yep. Like, yeah, I can take the bishop, but he still has his queen, a ton of pawns. I only got 2 pawns left, so it's just, he's just playing with me now at this point. I think, although I do think he was a little nervous with those 2 rooks just kind of hanging out. Like, he never wanted to slide over to the H-file to try to mate me. He could have, I think. If he had slid one of the rooks over, I'd take with my rook to get out of check, and then he just slides his queen over to mate me. Because my king really has nowhere to go. So I move my pawn up and just like, I don't know, let's just get this game over with. Like, I'm not going to resign, you're going to have to mate me, but you're doing a pretty good job of it. So, and he's just setting up for the final blow here. I don't even know, like, where to move my pieces. Like, it doesn't really matter at this point. So, not great. But if you've made it, whoops, we'll just go back there. If you made it this far in the video, I greatly appreciate it. This wasn't my best game I've ever played. Probably not going to be the worst game I ever play. But we're still hovering around that 802 to, like that 745 to 815 range. So the goal is to put a couple of these wins together to try to climb the rankings. And I know I need to play some more games just to practice and keep going. Because I do put a lot of pressure on myself to do well in these games, because I do want to improve, but it's just taking a little bit longer than I had expected. So, thank you so much if you've made it this far. Again, I greatly appreciate it, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Thanks.